Shanter was, much to the critics' acclaim, Burns' greatest work, but more importantly, it was his favourite poem. And it tells the story of an old rapscallion who stays out late, drinking, chasing women, getting drunk. Nothing that I would expect from any of the brethren here, except for Terry Llewellyn, perhaps. But the idea is he's got to leave the pub and get across the old kirk before midnight, or the ghosts and the ghoulies come out and haunt him. And the only chance of escape if he misses midnight is to get across the nearest running stream, because the witches and warlocks, legend has it, in that day couldn't cross running water. So, brethren, I've had 2 or 3 whiskies and 4 or 5 gins and some wine, so I hope too much isn't lost in translation. So here we go. When chapman billies leave the street and drouthy neighbours meet, as market days are wearing late and folk begin to tack the gate, while we sit boozing at the nappy and getting foo and uncle happy, we think na in the lang Scots miles, the mosses, waters, slaps and stiles that lie between us and our hame, where sits our sulky, sullen dame, gathering our brows like a gathering storm, nursing our wrath to keep it warm. This truth found honest Tam Shanter, as he fae air and night did canter, auld air where ne'er a tune surpasses, for honest men and bonny lasses. Tam had so but been so wise, and taken thy ain wife Kate's advice. She told thee weel thou was a skellum, a blethering, blustering, drunken blellum, that fae November till October, a market day thou wasna sober, that ilka milder with a miller, thou sat as lang as thou had siller, that every nag would cad a shoe on, the smith in thee got roaring foo on, that at the Lord's house, even on Sunday, thou drank wi' Kirk and Jean till Monday. She prophesied that later soon you would be found deep drowned in Doon, or catched wi' warlocks in the muck by Alloway's old haunted kirk. Oh, gentle James, it gas me greet to think how many counsels sweet, how many lengthened sage advices the husband frae the wife despises. But to our tale, a market night, Tam had got planted uncle right, fast by an ingle blazing finely, where reeman swats that drank divinely. And at his elbow, Suitor Johnny, his ancient, trusty, drouthy crony. Tam loved him like a very brother. They had been foo for weeks together. The night drave on with sangs and clatter, and aye the ale was growing better. The landlady and Tam grew gracious, with favours secret, sweet and precious. The suitor told his queerest stories, the landlord's laugh was ready chorus. The storm without might rear and rustle, Tam didna mind the storm a whistle. Care, mad to see a man so happy, even drowned himself among the nappy. As bees flee hame wi' lades of treasure, the minutes winged their way with pleasure. Kings may be blessed, but Tam was glorious, o'er all the ills of life victorious. But pleasures are like poppy spread. You seize the flower, its bloom is shed. Or like the snow falls in the river, a moment white, then melts forever. Or like the borealis race that flit ere you can point their place. Or like the rainbow's lovely form, be vanishing amid the storm. Nae man can tell their time nor tide. The hour approaches, Tam maun ride. That hour o' night's black arch the keystane. That dreary hour Tam mounts his beastin', and sic a night he tacks the road in, as ne'er a poor sinner was abroadin'. The wind blew as 'twould blawn its last, the rattling showers rose on the blast. The speedy gleams the darkness swallowed, loud deep and lang the thunder bellowed. That night a child might understand, the devil had business on his hand. Wheel mounted on his grey mare Meg, a better never lifted leg, Tam skelpit on through dub and mire, despising wind and rain and fire, whilst holding fast his good blue bonnet, whilst crooning o'er some old Scotch sonnet, whilst glowering round with prudent cares, lest bogles catch him unawares. Kirk Alloway was drawing nigh, where geese and hoolits nightly cry. By this time he was crossed the ford, where in the snow the chapman smurred, and past the bucks in Meeklestane, where drunken Charlie bracks neck bane, and through the winds and by the cairn, where hunters found the murdered bairn, and near the thorn aboon the well, where Mungo's mother hanged hersel. Before him doon pours all his floods, the doubling storm roars through the woods, the lightnings flash from pole to pole, near and more near the thunders roll. When glimmering through the groaning trees, Kirk Alloway seemed in a blaze. Through Ilkabore the beams were glancing, and loud resounded mirth and dancing. Inspiring bold John Barleycorn, what dangers thou canst make us scorn. With tuppenny, we fear nae evil. Leuskabe, we'll face the devil. The swat seemed at Tammy's noddle, fair play he cared na dells a boddle, but Maggie stood right sair astonished, till by the heel and hand admonished, she ventured forward on the light, and wow, Tam saw an unco sight. Warlocks and witches in a dance, nae cotillon brent new fae France, but hornpipes, jigs, strathspeys and reels put life and metal in their heels. A winnock bunker in the east, there sat old Nick in shape a beast, a towsy tyke, black, grim and large, to gie them music was his charge. He screwed the pipes and gat them skirl, till roof and rafters all did dirl. Coffins stood round like open presses, that showed the deed in their last dresses, and by some devilish cantrap sleight, each in its cold hand held a light, by which heroic Tam was able to note upon the holy table a murderer's banes and gibbet urns, twa span lang wee unchristened bairns, a thief new cutted fae a rape, where his last gasp his gub did gape. 5 tomahawks were blood red rusted, 5 scimitars were murder crusted, a garter which a babe had strangled, a knife a father's throat had mangled, whom his ain son a life bereft, the grey hairs yet stacked to the heft. Wi' mair horrible an offer, which even to name would be unlawful, 3 lawyers' tongues turned inside out wi' lies, seemed like a beggar's clout. 3 priests' hearts, rotten black as muck, lay stinking vile in every nook. As Tammy glowered, amazed and curious, the mirth and fun grew fast and furious. The piper loud and louder blew, the dancers quick and quicker flew. They reeled, they set, they crossed, they cleek it, till ilka carlin sweat and reek it, and coosed her duddies to the wark, and link it at it in her sark. But Tam, oh Tam, had they been queens, oh plump and strapping in their teens, their sarks instead of creasy flannin, been snow white 1700 linen, their breeks a mine my only pair, that yints were plush a good blue hair, I would have given them aff my huddies for a blink of the bonny birdies. But withered beldams, old and droll, rig woody hags would speen a foal, louping and flinging on a crummock. Ugh, it wonder didn't they turn thy stomach. But Tam kent what was what for brawly. There was a winsome wench in Whalley that night enlisted in the corps, lang after kenned on Carrickshore. For many a beast to deed she shot, and perished many a bonny boat, and shook baith meikle corn and beer, and kept the countryside in fear. Her cutty sark, a paisley harm, that while a lassie she had worn, in longitude though sorely scanty, it was her best, and she was vaunty. Oh, little kenned thy reverend granny, that sark she coughed for her wee Nanny, with 2 pound Scots was all her riches, would e'er a graced a dance of witches. But here my muse her wing maun cur, sick flights are far beyond her power, to sing how Nanny lap and flang, a supple jade she was and strang, and how Tam stood like yin bewitched, and thought his very een enriched. Even Satan glowered and fidged fu fain, and hotched and blew wi' micht and main, till first they caper, sign another. Tam tint his reason altogether, and roars out, "Well done, cutty sark!" And in an instant, all was dark, and scarcely had he Maggie rallied, when out the hellish legions sallied, as bees bazoot wi' angry fight when plundering herds assail their bike, as open pussy's mortal foes when pop she starts before their nose, as eager runs the market crowd when catch the thief resounds aloud, so Maggie runs, the witches follow, when many an eldritch screech and hollow, oh Tam, they'll get thy faring, and hell they'll roast thee like a herring. In vain thy Kate awaits thy coming, Kate soon will be a woeful woman. Now do thy speedy utmost, Meg, and win the key stain o' the brig. There at them thou thy tail may toss, a running stream they dare nae cross. But ere the key stain she could make, the faint a tail she had to shake. For Nanny, far before the rest, hard upon noble Maggie pressed, and flew at Tam with furious ettle. But little was she Maggie's mettle, a spring brought off her master hail, but left behind her ain grey tail. The carman clocked her by the rump, and left poor Maggie scarce a stump. Now, wha this tale of truth shall read, ilk man and mother's son take heed. Whene'er to drink ye are inclined, or cutty sarks run in your mind, think ye may buy the joys o'er dear. Remember Tam o' Shanter's mare. Brethren, that was a teleprompter Terry had in his hands.
I need a report.
Brethren, all,
I'm reminded of a Shakespearean quote which said that he that steals my purse steals trash, but he that steals my good name, as you did, sir, steals all that I have. Is there a solicitor in the house? You've got away with it this time.
Keith Miller's not here. Brethren, just a little footnote for that. Most of you will know the words Cutty Sark as that famous old tea clipper in Greenwich Dock, or that famous Scotch whisky. But in actual fact, the words Cutty and Sark came from Burns' poem, Tam o' Shanter. And Sark means shirt or petticoat, and Cutty a shortened version.